In the bustling city of Johannesburg, Thandiwe, a beautiful and intelligent young woman, lived with her husband, Thabo, and their 4 children, Naledi, Thando, Lesedi, and Kwesi. Thandiwe had always been a dedicated stay-at-home mom, pouring all her love and energy into raising their children and maintaining their household. However, her marriage was far happy. Thabo was often abusive, both physically and emotionally, and his infidelity was no secret. Is your one and only twice sweet African folktales, where stories sound like reality, beautiful and educative. Please don't forget to share, like, and comment your thoughts and observations. Subscribe and hit the notification button for more stories. Sit back and be entertained. Thandiwe's early life had been marred by tragedy. Adopted by her parents who died in a ghastly motor accident when she was barely 6 years old, Thandiwe moved in with her uncle, Anele, in Pretoria. Her uncle's wife, Kaya, and their only daughter, Amor, despised her for her beauty and intelligence. Thandiwe, loved by everyone in the neighborhood for her kind heart and willingness to help other children with their studies. Parents whose daughters she had helped often showered her with gifts of gratitude. Uncle Anele loved Thandiwe dearly and often encouraged his daughter, Amor, to emulate her. This only fueled Kaya and Amor's jealousy. One day, Kaya concocted a plan to turn her against her husband, Thandiwe. She shared her scheme with Amor, who praised her mother for her cunning. Kaya sent Thandiwe to the market and organized a group to kidnap her. Thandiwe was held captive for several months. During this time, Uncle Anele's health, already fragile due to diabetes, deteriorated as he was deeply disturbed by Thandiwe's sudden disappearance. Miraculously, Thandiwe managed to escape with the help of a grateful parents whose child she had once tutored. When she returned home, she found her uncle's health in a dire state. Despite her prayers and earnest care, Uncle Nalele eventually passed away. Kaya and Amor blamed Thandiwe for his death and began to maltreat her even more. Thandiwe's dream of education and a bright future were shattered. Years later, Kaya married Thandiwe off to Thabo, a known irresponsible man living in Johannesburg. Thandiwe's life in Johannesburg was a nightmare. Thabo's charm quickly faded, revealing a man who was controlling, manipulative, and abusive. Despite her dedication to her family, Thabo's infidelity and abuse only grew worse. For years, Thandiwe endured Thabo's maltreatment, clinging to the hope that things would change, but the abuse only escalated. Thabo's threats became more frequent and more violent. One fateful night, after another heated argument, he demanded that she leave their home and never return. Heartbroken and fearful for her life, Thandiwe decided to leave, but she was forced to make the agonizing decision to leave her children behind, hoping they would be safe. The night she left was stormy, both outside and within the walls of their home. Thabo had come late, reeking of alcohol and perfume. Thandiwe, tired of his infidelities, confronted him. The argument quickly escalated into a physical altercation. Tabo struck her, and as she lay on the floor, bruised and bleeding, she screamed at her to get out of the house. Thandiwe's heart shattered. She knew she had to leave to save herself, but the thought of leaving her children behind was unbearable. She kissed each of them as they slept, whispering promises of return. With nothing but a few clothes and the little money she had saved, she walked out into the stormy night, tears streaming down her face. Thandiwe left Johannesburg. She traveled to Pretoria, determined to rebuild her life. Initially, she struggled, taking on menial jobs just to survive. But Thandiwe was resilient and resourceful. She enrolled in night classes, earning professional qualifications in accounting and business management. She also learned various skills such as tailoring and baking to ensure she had multiple sources of income. Pretoria was the beginning of for Thandiwe, but it was not an easy one. She found herself living in a tiny rundown apartment, far from the comfort of her former home. She took any job she could find, from cleaning houses to working in a bakery. The hours were long and the pay meager, but Thandiwe was determined to make herself something. During the day, she worked tirelessly and earnestly. At night, she attended classes at the local community college. The coursework was challenging, especially after years away from academics, but Tandiwe's determination kept her going. She excelled in her studies, earning top marks and the respect of her instructors. In addition to her formal education, Thandiwe learned various skills to diversify her income. She took up tailoring using an old sewing machine she found at a thrift store. She also honed her baking skills, experimenting with recipes and selling her creations to neighbors and local shops. Slowly but surely, her hard work began to pay off. Years passed, and Sandiwe's hard work began to pay off. She secured a thriving job at a reputable firm and opened a small bakery on the side. Her financial independence and newfound confidence gave her the strength to reclaim her life. She never forgot about her children and constantly kept tabs on them through trusted friends. Her job at the accounting firm provided stability and a decent income. Thandiwe quickly rose through the ranks, earning promotions and the admiration of her colleagues. Her meticulous work and dedication did not go unnoticed, and she became a valued member of the team. The bakery, a passion project that started in a tiny apartment, grew into a small business. Thandiwe rented a storefront in a busy part of Pretoria and hired a few employees to help with the growing demand. The bakery became known for its delicious pastries and warm atmosphere, attracting customers from all over the city. Despite her success, Thandiwe's heart remained with her children. She kept in touch with trusted friends in Johannesburg who provided updates on Naledi, Tandu, Lesedi, and Kwezi. The children were growing up without her, but they were always in her thoughts and prayers. Back in Johannesburg, Thabo struggled to balance his career and raising four children alone. His work performance suffered, and his infidelity caught up with him. Unable to manage his responsibility, he was eventually fired from his job. The children, neglected and longing for their mother, bore the brunt of his frustrations. Tabo's life began to unravel after Thandiwe left. Without her to manage the household and care for the children, he found himself overwhelmed. His once thriving career took a nosedive as he struggled to juggle work and family responsibilities. His infidelities, once hidden, became public knowledge, further damaging his reputation. At home, the children suffered. Naledi, now a teenager, took on the role of caregiving, trying to fill the void left by her mother. Tandu, Lesedi, and Kwesi, still young, were left to fend for themselves. The house fell into disarray, and the children's gain began to sleep. They missed their mother terribly and yearned for her to return. Tabo's temper grew shorter as his life spiraled out of control. He became even more abusive towards the children, who bore the brunt of his frustrations. The once loving father had become a tyrant, and the children lived in constant fear of his outburst. One day, Thandiwe received a call from an old friend informing her about Tabo's predicament. Realizing it was time to act, she returned to Johannesburg. With her newfound strength and resources, Thandiwe confronted Tabo and demanded custody of their children. Defeated and unable to care for them, Tabo reluctantly agreed. Thandiwe's return to Johannesburg was a bittersweet homecoming. She was nervous about confronting Tabo and anxious to see her children. When she arrived at their home, she found it in a state of disarray. The once vibrant house was now neglected and filled with sadness. Tabo, defeated and broken, did not put up much fight. He knew he could no longer take care of the children and recognized that they would be better off with Thandiwe. The children, overjoyed to see their mother, clung to her with tears of relief and happiness streaming down their faces. Thandiwe gathered her children and their belongings, determined to provide them with a better life as they left the house. She looked back one last time, feeling a mix of sorrow and resolve. She knew that this was the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new, brighter one. Thandiwe moved her children to Pretoria, where they were welcomed into a loving and stable home. She continued to excel in her career and expanded her bakery business. The children thrived under her care, excelling in their studies and activities. The move to Pretoria was a fresh start for Thandiwe and her children. They settled in a comfortable home, filled with love and laughter. Thandiwe's job provided financial stability, and her bakery business continued to flourish. Naledi, Tandu, Lasedi, and Kwesi adapted well to their new environment. They excelled in school and made new friends. Naledi, inspired by her mother's resilience, pursued her own dreams of becoming a doctor. Tandu developed a passion for sports, while Lesedi and Kwesi found joy in art and music. Bye!